talk about being vulnerable. So it's the first time I'm doing this, so I'm sorry if I may be not able to speak or I'm shaking or whatever. So, I think as you age, you also become a kind of brave, or you say you don't care. So today is that moment for me. I wouldn't have done this 5 years ago, and I'm really glad I'm here. And the story about being, about the fear. So it's a very crazy story. It might be a cultural shock to few people because I come from India, and 23, 24 years back in India, in a small town, things happened which nobody here might have heard, or maybe their grandmoms might have experienced them. So I had a friend who was a neighbor. She was in love with a guy, and as it happens in Bollywood movies, the family was against it. And she was trying very hard to convince her family, but then you say, okay, he's not from our caste, or he's not from the same status quo as we are, so you're not allowed to marry him. And then she was older to me, maybe 10, 12 years older than I was in college. I was in my early 20s. And every day she used to tell me her story, okay, they are not agreeing. And I used to come home and I used to cry, being so emotional about her love life. I used to think that, oh my God, I'm not going to love anybody, because if my parents don't agree, then I'm going to cry so much because I'm crying for her. And when my mom used to come to the room, I used to do like this, and my mom would doubt that, okay, what's wrong? And then she would ask me what happened, and I would say, no, nothing, because it was really hard for me to tell my mom about somebody else's love life. My mom will think I am in a bad company, because then I'm going to follow her footsteps. So it all was a very vicious cycle. And one day she told that, okay, now they have found a guy for me, they're going to get me married to the guy of their choice, so I'm going to run away from home. Which was also not a very big deal, because it was common. Once a year in your lane or in your area where you live, you will hear that that person's daughter has run away from home. As a daughter, you will feel as if you have also let your parents down. It's sad to see parents like this. And now if I think that if I would not have run down, if in case I would have been in that situation, imagine spending the whole life with a guy just to make sure my parents are happy. Oh my God. So then she decided she's going to run away from home, but she was locked in the room. And she couldn't get out of the room. So she messaged me, and there were no mobile phones then, because you would think I have come from the Vikings time, but yeah, there were no mobile phones, so no messaging, nothing. So she called me from the phone, you can say, okay, secretively, and said, okay, 7 o'clock, I'm going to throw the bag out of the window, and you come pick up the bag and bring a chair so that I can climb the four wall and come out of the house. And I am like really shaking, and I'm like, how do I do this? And I cannot let her down because she's my friend. So I called another friend of mine, whose parents are even stricter than mine. Mine were really broad-minded, given the times. They were really cool. And now I have to search a chair in my home, which is not very public chair, because her family shouldn't have seen this chair. They will know that it's chair from her house. It's not nice for neighbors to know that. And then I searched for a chair from her backyard, from her storeroom, which is not very stable. It's not used for a long time. And I bring this chair, and now I take this chair out of our gate, and then I hide it really in the side so that I can get out of home at 9 in the night somehow, which is not so easy. And then I take the chair. And I go and I tell my mom, okay, I'm walking out in the garden, okay. And my friend is also there, so we both are walking out in the garden. And then we slowly open the gate, take the chair, go to her house, throw the chair, and then wait so that nobody has heard thump when the chair fell down. And then exactly 9 o'clock, then she threw her bag. We carry her bag, she climbs the chair, and she crosses out. And then she's out. We take her boyfriend is waiting in the car somewhere, and we take her. And the way I come back home, I have never felt so vulnerable. Not during my exams, not during telling my dad that I want to marry this guy. I was whole red, sweating, and I was like, okay, now I come home, how do I face my parents? I have let another parents down. It's not easy, and I'm looking at my dad, and I'm promising myself, I'm not gonna love anybody. I will never, this is really being a bad daughter, and I'm cursing myself. And it's like such a dilemma that have I done right, have I done wrong? And then, okay, I can't sleep in the night, I slept somehow, and morning 6 o'clock, her brother walks in. And then my mom is like, what is he doing so early in the morning here? And I have to go to college, so I'm just up and I'm getting ready, and then he comes and he calls me. And my mom is like, okay, he is here and he's calling you. And the moment I heard he's here and he's calling you, I was like, what? Now what do I do? It was like I was literally struggling to get up from my bed, and I was literally struggling to go out and talk to my mom. I was like, what the hell, you're talking to them every day, why are you so worried today? And I haven't told my mom what happened. So I just go out and I'm not able to speak, and he said that she's not in her room, we checked in the morning, and do you know where she is? And I'm like, no, I don't know. And it was very hard for me because usually, maybe you haven't noticed, I'm really a truth-speaking person. I had hardly lied to my parents about these big things, no. And then I come inside and I sit on my sofa and I start crying. I'm crying, and my mom comes and my mom is scared. She said, what happened? What did he tell you? And my mom thought he said something. And then I cannot control, and I told my mom what I did in the night. And my mom is like, what? Are you crazy? And never ever tell anybody that you did this.